Hey, copyrights, what's up? And today I'm going to continue to talk about my trip in Europe. By the way, the reason why I'm talking about copyrights because my Game of Thrones Season 6 reaction video is getting blocked worldwide. I kind of manipulated the audio and the video a little bit, but it keeps on getting blocked no matter what I do. So, thanks, YouTube. Thanks. Alright, anyway, that's not the main point of the video. The main point is, the period between July 25th to August 4th. And, before I wanted to make 3 videos for this Europe trip, but I realized it's too much, so 4. 4 is even better. Okay, the lighting's better. So, before I wanted to make 3 separate videos for this Europe thing, but I realized it's not enough, so here we go. 3 out of 4, this one. I'm gonna try my best to speak quickly. So anyway, July 25th, we are at Copenhagen. That's right, folks. We are at Copenhagen. Wait, it's not, wait, hold on. It's not, okay, it's... So, I'm gonna try my best to look for my timeline, and basically we went from Copenhagen Central Station to Malmö Central Station, which is across the ocean, and it's in Sweden, so there's that. And there's one thing that I really remember, and that is, usually when we pass the border between countries, I would film it with my camera, but unfortunately, we're in the sea. First of all, I can't read my map, so I don't even know where we are, because there's no signal. Second of all, I don't know where is the line, the border, so mission failed. But yeah, I was gonna say Hauptbahnhof, but the real name is actually Huvudbangård. There you go. So Malmö Central, and then we left some meat in the fridge in Copenhagen, and we were like, damn it, So we had to buy food in Malmö so that we can eat them on our way to Stockholm. And then something tragic happened. So we went from Malmö to Stockholm, and all of a sudden, there's this power outage thing, and we were stuck in a place called Hör, H-O with an umlaut, O with umlaut, R. And we kind of stayed there for around half an hour, and I kind of went off the train and took some fresh air outside for 5 minutes, 2 minutes actually, and that's it. Hör. Yep. And then, yes, the train continued. We have power again until something happened again. And this time, instead of stopping in Hör, we stopped at Alvista. Not Avista, Alvista. So, except instead of stopping in Alvista for half an hour, we stopped for 1.5, 2 hours, around 2 hours. Yeah, 2 hours. And it sucks. First of all, I think there was a heat wave in Europe and Scandinavia in that time, but it was so hot, it was so fucking hot. Outside of the train, it's toasted, dry, hot, fiery, flamey hot. The inside is boiled. It's really wet, boiled. It's like sauna, and it's just really hot. And we kind of stayed there, and I was just tired and hot, and oh man, it was terrible. It was really terrible. And then after a while, apparently the reason why we were stuck there, because apparently these train lines were on fire. There were wildfire in Sweden, so we had to wait until the fire was extinguished So anyway, we were gonna go to Stockholm, and then suddenly the final destination changed from Stockholm to Huddinge, or Flemingsberg station. So we kind of went from Huddinge to Stockholm Södra station with a free single ticket, enkelbiljett. So there we go. And then by the time we arrived at our Airbnb, it's already kind of late, around 7 p.m. So we went to our Airbnb, which is on Tantogatan. Before that, our Airbnb is supposedly in Karlaplan, which is way nearer and to the city center, but you know, something like there's a flood, so we had to live in Tantogatan, and yeah, and then we went to like a supermarket, ICA supermarket, and then we went back, and that's day what? Day 10. Day 11. Stockholm. So we first of all went to Södra station to buy some tickets, because why not, and then we took a train, I think, a train from Södra station to Central station. No, we didn't. We took the MTR, in fact. This is kind of interesting. So we were at Tantogatan, we went to Södra station, and then we walked underground, and then we walked back up, and then we walked like a few blocks until we get into an MTR station, or a subway station. And it's called Marietorget. And anyway, we went from Marietorget all the way to the central, to the T-Centralen, and we went to the central station because my mom needs to get her money back, refund, because of that incident last time, the day before. So after the refund, it's already around 12 at noon, and there were so many things on our schedule. So I was like, dude, we have so many things to do today, and we've already wasted half a day. So after that, we kind of walked to the city hall, Rådhus. Nope, it's Rådhus, whatever, something like that. Stadshus. Okay, whatever. Anyway, we went to the city hall. Nothing that great. It's by the sea, so it's kind of beautiful, but that's pretty much the extent of it. And my family were taking a lot of photos and stuff. I was like, dude, we're running out of time. Please go. So we kind of walked backwards, back to the central station, and we walked further to Sergels Torg. Sergels Torget? Tori, and it's not really anything really. It's yeah, it's really nothing. There's like a roundabout, and then there was like empty space outside of the central station, and that's it. And then we walked further down the street of Hamngatan and Hamgaton, and then we went to Kunsträgården, which is basically the King's Garden, and again, it's not really that crazy of a garden. There were a lot of restaurants there, and it was already around 2 p.m. by that time, 3 p.m., and we were like, and then we decided to like, originally we wanted to have lunch there, but we were like, you know what, the palace, the royal palace is about to close in 5 p.m., so you know what, let's go down to Gamla Stan to have lunch, and then we'll go to the palace. And yeah, we were running out of time. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we went to Gamla Stan, and it was actually a really nice place. We kind of walked through the bridge of Strömbron, and then we went past the royal palace, and we went into the place, and we had a restaurant. There was a restaurant called Österlånggatan 17, or so it says in the Google map. And we had steak tartare with lingonberry sauce and pickles, which is a really weird dish. I'm not a huge fan of steak tartare because it's really weird and chopped up. But the lingonberry sauce is really tasty, and we also had meatballs, which is my idea because Swedish meatballs, they are famous. And, you know, with the gravy and smashed potatoes, it was really nice, but we were all in a hurry. And then our family decided that we won't go to the palace, but my family suggested that I go to the palace. So I went to the palace alone. Kungliga Slottet. And it was just me alone, and it was like 60 or 80 Swedish crown, so it was actually kind of expensive. And I went down to the crypt, to the underground of the palace, and there were all these expensive crowns and swords and armor, I believe. So it was pretty, I guess. It was small, but eh. And then I went up to the palace, which is like any usual palace, to be honest. You know, chandeliers, nice carpet, really shiny golden chairs, a lot of paintings and portraits, and a lot of stairs and different rooms, a lot of different beds, dining table, and that's it. And I went through the entire palace under 20 minutes. That's impressive. And I was gonna exit the palace, and there were the exit. Okay, so this is the exit, and there were 2 doors, so I didn't know which one to go through. So I went through this one, and I'm gonna show you. But yeah, I went to the wrong side of the exit, which means I kind of went outwards, away from the Gamla Stan, towards the normal. I don't know how to explain it. So yeah, basically I went to the wrong exit, and I had to run all the way to the other side of the palace, which sucks. And I had to run because we were running out of time. So, you know, yeah, I basically walked like this road, Slottskajen. I walked on this road for like 5 times. So yeah, this is the second time. And then I was already very sweaty, really tired. I drank a lot of water. It's crazy. And then, yeah, we had to go to the medieval museum. So our family came, and we had to walk backwards again. So I was out of the palace. I walked back into the Gamla Stan, and then I had to go backwards again out of the palace, because we were going to go to the Stockholm Medeltids Museum. And it's a really surprisingly nice underground museum. In fact, you know what? This museum is probably my favorite tourist attraction in Sweden so far, because it's actually really good. What really surprises me about this museum is that, first of all, it's free. A free museum. Imagine that. Free museum. Second of all, it's free air conditioning. Third of all, this is great. Like, there were models of actual sized humans dressed in medieval clothing, and there were these models of houses inside the museum, and we get to go in. And it's like a recreation of the medieval times in Sweden. So it's actually really, really cool, and it's just an amazing museum, in my opinion. So after that, we went back out, and it was 6 p.m., and then we went back into the Gamla Stan again, and it's already the 4th or 5th time I've went through the same path. Yeah, 5th. And we went back to the Gamla Stan, and then we were at and then there was this square right outside the Nobel Museum. We didn't go in because, come on, I'm not like too many museums for the day, and we don't have enough time. So we didn't go into the Nobel Museum, but we were at Stortorget, and really nice. There was this stand, and we had like a cup of slush, which is like ice. Yeah, it's really, really sweet though. So I kind of added a little water, and then yeah, beautiful houses over there. And then we walked all the way through the thing, passed by the Tyska Kyrkan, the German church, and we went through an alleyway, and we went to the south of Gamla Stan, and then we walked through the bridge, and we arrived at Slussen. And then we continued walking, and then we went to the place that I want to go to, Snickars Records, which is said to be one of the biggest record store in Sweden. It's not actually that big, and like there were some old stuffs in there, like Elton John, and there were some not weird, but non-mainstream stuffs, but not like super non-mainstream. So it's like old non-mainstream stuffs. Like I'm trying to remember. Like it has Bizarre, the rapper, and then there's yeah, Elton John is in there. I forgot. Just it's mainstream but not too mainstream. And it's I found nothing that great in there. I was trying to find, you know, like Kendrick Lamar and Radiohead in there and Pink Floyd, hopefully, but nope. I can't even find Björk in there. So yeah, it's not really that great. So we walked all the way back to the Slussen station, and we were gonna take a bus back home, and then we can't find the bus stop because there were construction happening. So, you know, everything's changed, and yeah, but at the end we found the bus, and no wait, at the end we gave up. We actually gave up. At the end we went back home through subway. We actually gave up on taking a bus, and we also met a Greek woman who directed us. She didn't bring us to Maria Toriet. She brought us to another station, Medborgarplatsen. And we walked all the way back to Södra Station, and we walked all the way back to Tantogatan. So there's day 11. Is it a little too dark? Whatever. Day 12 is, yeah. Again, running out of time. We don't have time. Okay, but anyway, in the morning, I kind of stayed at home. Stayed at the Airbnb. The Airbnb is really strange. It's like, it doesn't look like an Airbnb at all. It feels like somebody's apartment, literally. Like, it feels like somebody just lived here, and, you know, it's just, everything's used, you know? And my parents went to Södra Station to buy more tickets, and then they went back home, and then we went out. We went to Slussen first, by bus. Finally, we know where to get off, and then we went to, I think by bus, right? Yeah. And then we went to Tegelvikshamnen. Again, Slussen, we finally knew which bus were we taking, and then we went from Slussen to London Viadukten, which is directly beside the pier, Tegelvikshamnen. And there is the Viking Line terminal. There we go. So, yeah, and then we kind of put down all our luggages and our bags at that Viking Line terminal place. And our grandma was there, so she's sitting there alone for 4 hours, I think. And then we took the bus back to Slussen, and we went to Djurgården, which is another island. originally we wanted to take a boat there, but I was like, it's probably gonna be very expensive, so we kind of wasted 45 minutes or 40, around 40. We took a bus back to Slusen, and then we went to Djurgården, where we passed by the Nordiska museum, which looks fantastic, but again, we didn't have enough time, so we directly went to Vasamuseet, whatever. And it's the hottest tourist attraction in Sweden in general. So it's actually a pretty nice museum. This boat is gigantic. There were 7 floors in that museum. And yeah, this boat is 7 stories high. It's ridiculous. And there were also all of these exhibitions in the sides. It was really nice, and it was also really complicated. The 3rd floor and the 4th floor is somehow connected. So if you're taking the elevator in Vasamuseet, you can't go to the 3rd floor, you can go to the 4th floor, and then you walk down to 3. Or is it 2? I don't know. But after Vasamuseet, again, we were running out of time, so we stumbled upon a hot dog stand, and we had a hot dog. I had a French hot dog, and yeah, it was messy. It was a mess. And I wanted to go to Skansen, you know, because I don't want to go to this island just for that one museum. I want to go to one more place. So I went to Skansen alone, while everyone else stayed behind. So yeah, I finished up the hot dog. I had my drink. So I had a camera. I carried a camera. I hold the camera with my right hand, and on the left hand I hold the can of drink plus the map of Skansen. And sometimes I use both hands to look at the map. And I went across the Skansen and back, and I didn't go anywhere else. And it was like a zoo park-ish thing. And it took me around 25 minutes to visit there, which is again very few minutes. I kind of stumbled upon a seal place, and I saw a seal, and that's it. And it was pretty nice. It was pretty natural, and it has this, you know, this toyish tone to the park that I really like. There's this small tower in there with the Swedish flag, and I thought that's pretty cool, and that's all. There was also a real small church in there. So yeah. So we went back out, we took a tram, I believe, all the way back to Slusen, and then we took a bus all the way from Slusen back to London Viadukten, and then we went back to Tegelvikshamnen, and my grandma was like, dude, we gotta hurry. So we took our bags, and we went up we checked in, we went to the elevator, we went up through the little pathways, and we went into the boat, Gabriella, Viking Line. So it was very luxurious. It was a very luxurious big boat. There was a huge like supermarket in the boat. There was a lot of arcade games in the boat. There was a lot of rooms. There's a spa in there. There's of course there's 3 restaurants, I don't know, but I've only been to 2 restaurants on that boat. And it was a crazy huge boat, and the rooms were very, like, although they were really small, but they were really comfortable. Like, they feel like hotel rooms. And there was a bunk bed, and I slept on the top. And every time I sleep on that bed, which is twice, by the way, the blanket falls off the bed. Like, I don't know why. There were no guardrails on the bunk bed, by the way, which normally you wouldn't, because you have to pull it out and stuff. But yeah, it was a really nice boat, and I went to the deck. I went to the 10th floor. It was super windy, super cold. In the morning it was super hot, but when you go up, it's super cold, and I went past my northernmost point. Originally, it was Skagway, Alaska, and the record was set in 2008 or 9, and then we went past that around at there's an island called Betsö, and when I passed that island, I've passed the northernmost point. So I filmed that, and there were so many islands. It was crazy. It was very chopped up. It was messy, and it was beautiful. So overnight, we were going to Mariehamn before we go to Helsinki. And before going to Mariehamn, we had a buffet on the boat, and it was so much. I had 5 plates of food in there. 5 plates. And I wanted to vomit. I want to throw up after that. I was in a lot of pain. My stomach, literally, it's about to explode. And a lot of seafood and stuff. You know, a lot of seafood, potatoes, broccoli, ice cream, a lot of salmon. There's one food where they kind of fill a red pepper with like some sort of rice. That one's disgusting. But other than that, it's okay. Day 13. Day 13. Helsinki. So we arrived at Helsinki. We got off the boat. We went to the bus, and we took a bus. We took a bus to Airbnb, and we had to transfer at one place, and that place is Yliopilastalo. Yeah, what am I talking about? Which means student house, student huset. Yliopilastalo. Makes sense, right? Stalo, house, building, tower thing. I don't know. And then we went to our Airbnb, which is on the street, called Persimiehen Katu. Katu is like street. It's like gaton. It's like gata. Yeah. It's like rue. And then there was a shop called Arkioski, which is like 7-Eleven, and you can buy bus tickets over there, so that's pretty convenient. And in the morning, we didn't have any breakfast, so we stumbled upon a cafe nearby our Airbnb, and we had a cookie over there, and I had a bottle of chocolate milk that we bought earlier in Slussen, Stockholm. And the cafe is called SIS Deli Cafe. And then we went to our Airbnb, we settled down, and we went to the supermarket, bought some things, and then we went off to travel around. First place to go to is Ateneum, which is one of the national art museums in Helsinki. And there was a lot of modern art. There were also a lot of old art, and not that it's special or anything, but it's pretty nice. It's decent. There was a painting, and it was about masks, and there were these clowns. I thought that's pretty interesting. One funny thing about this museum, though, this museum has the most nudity I've ever seen in an art museum. Lots of naked people. Naked men, naked women. Just naked humans in general. And then after that, it was already around 3 p.m., so we went outside, across the street of Stortorget, or the Senator Square, across the street of the Helsingin Tuomiokirkko. There was a restaurant called Restaurant Savoti, and it was expensive, but it was a pretty good meal. I had reindeer meat, which I had never had before, and it was it's sort of like sort of like beef, a little bit like beef. Yeah, we had a lot of fish as well, salmon, and as dessert we had this cream berry thing, which tastes really bitter but also sweet, pretty special. And then after that, we went across the street to see the Helsingin Tuomiokirkko and the Senator Square, which is really not that special again. The church is pretty huge and monumental, but we didn't get to go in. The door wasn't open, so we were outside of the thing, and that's it. And then we walked from one church to the other church, and the other church is Uspenski Cathedral. And Helsingin Tuomiokirkko, the Helsinki church, it was white and light cyan, which is like light green and light blue mixed together. Uspenski Cathedral is different. It's reddish brown and this light cyan, except it's more greenish. So it was a different color pattern, which is pretty interesting. And what's interesting about Uspenski Cathedral is that it's still a running church. It's not a tourist spot. You can't take photos in there. And there were actually tourists going into the church, but for worshiping. And there was a ceremony happening. There were two men in huge green robes. One of them were holding a huge Bible, and another person was holding a huge candle, and they took out like a chain with a golden sphere, and some smoke came out, and they were all singing songs. It was eerie, and after that, we took a tram back home. We went to the supermarket, and that's it. Aleppo is the supermarket. Or Aleppo? Was it Aleppo or Aleppo? I don't know. Alright, I totally forgot to talk about day 14, which is the day where we went to Suomenlinna, which is the island in Helsinki. And I don't know why, I'm just forgetful sometimes. Okay, anyway, let's talk about that day. In the morning, we went to the R kioski to buy the tickets. And you can't buy the boat tickets to Suomenlinna with the regular transportation card of Helsinki, so that's a little bit of information for you. Anyway, after going to our kioski, we kind of took a bus or maybe a tram, I think a bus, all the way to Kauppatori. And Kauppatori is basically the pier, the seaside of Helsinki, facing towards Suomenlinna Island, but So basically, we went to this Kauppatori, and it's basically this seaside market, the pier, and it was a Sunday on that day, so there were all these tents, and there were people in these tents, selling animal skin, which is a little rest in peace. There were a lot of people selling all sorts of accessories and all that, and there were also tents where people serve food, and we had a very simple plate of street food in one of those tents, and I'm going to show you the photo right here. And it's a really nice big paper plate, and on the plate is a fish, nice little roasted potatoes, we got vegetables, beans, carrots, and there was a very nice sour. Okay, I can talk now, right? And there was a really nice sour cream sauce on top of the fish and the veggies. And you can also order meatballs with lingonberry sauce. So that's pretty cool, and it's not a bad meal, to be honest. It's pretty good. And after the meal, we bought a ticket and we took a boat to Suomenlinna Island, which is basically the top tourist attraction in Finland. And I didn't expect anything from an island, more like multiple islands. But yeah, I don't know what to expect. And this island, it's not like an amusement park or anything. It's literally just an island with old structures of forts and underground tunnels, and there's a gate, a King's Gate, which is directly beside the sea, and there are all sorts of tunnels, sort of underground tunnels that leads to nowhere as far as I can see, and no one dares to go inside, and it was but yeah, I was really curious where these tunnels lead to, but who knows? If you know, tell me, because I'm actually really curious. But we also get to go to a beach, a rocky beach, and I was like, you know what? These waters in the beach belong to the Arctic Ocean. So me, my dad, and my brother went down to the beach and touched the water because, hey, we want to touch the Arctic Ocean. Alright, people are screaming. But yeah, we touched the Arctic Ocean. It was cold. But, the water generally in Scandinavia are pretty cold. And there were a lot of birds on that island as well. And I took a photo where a sea of birds were sleeping, so check it out. And yeah, that's Suomenlinna. That is Suomenlinna. It's not bad. It's really peaceful. It's very beautiful. And well, yeah, that's the place where I bought the beer bottle opener souvenirs for Jordana and Natalie, two of my female friends. Yeah, so there you go, Suomenlinna. And then we went back home, and that's pretty much it. And before going back home, we had to transfer again, like our bus stopped at Julio Pilastalo again. So we stayed at Julio Pilastalo for a while, and there was a sort of a mall, and it was a really big but not necessarily expensive mall. And after that, we went back home, and that's day 14.